Hey everybody, it's Cinnamon Cooney, your Art Sherpa, and today live I'm going to show you step by step how to paint Christine from the Stephen King novels. Now, this is a very special topic for me because the very first horror novel that I ever read in my life, and I wasn't even allowed to read horror novels. I had to bicycle something like 3.5 miles to the bookstore to buy the book with my own money that I earned from mucking horse stalls. That's commitment as a small young person.
Oh yeah.
Was Christine's. That was my whole introduction to the horror fantasy genre. And I fell in love right away. I'm not a car person. You know, it didn't speak to me on that level, but it spoke to me on the storyteller level. And I've had a long just fandom with Stephen King my entire life. In fact, it's one of the few people that I could not handle Meaning and Purpose because I would completely fangirl out and lose my mind. So, you know, sometimes we have people that are in our lives, they're so influential and they bring such joy and such goodness that it's almost like standing next to the sun when we're near them. On the mic is my husband, John.
Hey guys.
He is going to support me in this mania for the 13 days of Halloween because we're going to paint every day live, every day for 13 days. He's going to support me on this journey by showing up every day. That's a good start. By making sure you guys see every part of the step-by-step action with zooming in cameras, many, many angles, just everything you need to know to be right in the bristles of the brush. If you check the description below, there's a link to our website. On that website is your own copy of the gridding if you want to use the gridding. There's also Traceable if you don't like gridding. And after the show, I will put up a quick look step by step. I'm really liking these because they prevent you guys from feeling anxious and lost. It really alleviates that anxiety and gives you really nice set stopping points to know I've just got to get to here to here. So we're going to be making those as we go. Are we ready to jump on into the 13 days of Sherpaween? Woo!
Absolutely.
Oh, I'm so excited. All right, let's hop it. So over here on this, I have a nice big brush, black paint, a watercolor pencil in blue. It could be any color. It could also be kids' chalk, a T-square, and glasses so I can see things clearly. Here is my reference, and you guys have some access to that. You've got this one with its measurements of 2 inches, 4.5 inches, 7 inches, 3 inches, 6 inches, and 9 inches to help you freehand it if you want. Or hey, just use a traceable, nobody minds. Now, always we like to, if we can, get wishes from our community or wishes for ourselves, intentions, thoughts, ideas, and put them on the surface before we paint to kind of put them out into the universe. So I really love this wish and I super duper hope it comes true. Brandy is wishing for her family to be made whole and their current adoption to sail through easily and the girls to be in their forever home soon. And she extended a wish that all children everywhere find themselves in loving forever homes. That touched me so much, you know, as a mom and just as a human being. And I definitely want that too. I want to add pets to that. Make all the domestic creatures find forever homes and kind, compassionate humans. I also personally wish that we get a license for the Disney characters so I can become an official Disney artist. That's my new wish that's going to be going on every canvas.
Ooh, I like that wish.
And then my wish is the BAQ 2020 gets perfectly launched. So wishes that I have going on. I'm going to get my big chunky fat brush wet. This is, if you need to know the specific one, a number 30 Ruby Satin Bright. There's also a number 30 Bright in my own brush line that would work for this really well. But look, here's the secret. You just want a big chunky brush that paints the surface fast. That's all you're looking for. Big chunky brushes. And you don't have to be neat or precious or any of that about this stage of the painting. In fact, this is your freedom level, because at this level, guess what? You're just painting it black, so it's going to go really well. First stage of the painting is going to go great. I should add official D&D artist to that too, John. I'm just ready to start getting some of those licenses.
Now, some of the, guys,
some of that fandom.
We do our best to catch all these wishes. If you have some wishes you'd like for us to put on a canvas, you can go and put them on our Facebook page or on the website.
Yeah, the Facebook group actually has a file for it.
There you go.
That I check before the show. And you just put those in the comments, and that way, you know, you're not sharing necessarily your whole private biz with 40,000 strangers, but I look for those and we put those out there. So, all right, now I'm going to dry the canvas with my hairdryer because that makes the gridding part a super lot easier.
So yeah, if you guys want to if you go out there to the Facebook group, you want to put a wish out there on the canvas for you guys, we'd love to do that. Sometimes it's hard to catch them live as they're coming in, and we totally love you guys, and we'll try to capture those when we can. Don't forget not to use heat. She's going to be done in just a second. You see, heat can mess up your drying for all sorts of reasons, so don't use heat. Just use air on the lowest setting. Just air move to dry your paint. And then make sure it's thoroughly dry so that when you do start doing your next layer, it doesn't pick up any black paint.
Yep. Yep. So true.
Those were my favorite aliens. The Yip Yips.
The Yip Yips.
You remember them?
I do remember them. Actually, here's a good question for you guys to discuss. Stephen King, love him. I'm not going to say or hate him because that's not an option. Love him. And then you could super love him. You could super duper love him. Those are the three options. But not so much that you trap him in a cabin because he's clearly really worried about that as an eventuality. He's a little afraid of his fans. Reasonably so, I think. But what's your favorite Stephen King book or property or idea or anything that you ever read? And I know most of you are going to say Gunslinger, which I have to kind of agree with was pretty spectacular. But, just wanting to know that out there. Now, I'm going to measure from the right side towards the left side to match up my grid here. So at my 2-inch mark, I'm going to make a little line here. And then at my 4.5-inch mark, I'm going to make a little line. And then at my 7-inch mark, I'm going to make a little line. I'm going to take my fabulous T-square, which helps me make straight lines, because I would not do that without this tool. And it's going to be hard. Cars are challenging for me just because of my straight line challenges.
Now, rumor has it, that if you didn't have such a tool as a T-square, you could use a paper towel.
Yes, paper towels. Here, I'll show you guys. If you don't mind me showing you this real quick.
I also heard...
I will do it with a paper towel. I'll show you one set with a paper towel.
Did you?
So if I go like this, I can show it to you. So see how on the perforation, you fold a paper towel on the perforation, and you can line it up square at the top.
Now, couldn't you just use another canvas surface?
You could also use another canvas surface.
Just like squish.
I figured out the paper towel thing when I was teaching in painting parties, where I was like, oh goodness, we don't have a T-square. What could we do? That's the thing that we could do. So that's about the quality of the line that you get. But look, it would get you through.
It makes the mark you need.
It makes the mark you need where you need it. And that's sort of the big thing.
Yeah.
And look, didn't do it that far off. So it's a good hack or dupe. Now now I'm going to I gotta match this up so it's all the same. On this side then. Where's the 7? I gotta make sure that it's 4.5, 7. So this is the side I've got to do 3, 9. All right. So on that right side. So you have to turn it where this is the 2, this is the 4.5, and this is the 7 to get the next set of measurements correctly.
Oh, I see. So you're measuring off the upper left corner. Oh, that's good. Good to know.
Isn't it the upper right?
Upper right. You're right.
Oh,
see,
okay.
You've dyslexified me.
I don't feel like I did that to you. I
It's
feel like
all
that
your
is just...
Just this is your show.
Look, I love your mom, right? And so, like, seriously love your mom. I gave it an 8-inch mark instead of a thing. But I would say that any dyslexia, right, is genetic.
Okay.
Wait, no, it was your dad.
I was like, how did all of a sudden my parents get drug into this?
You're talking about that I gave you dyslexia. I couldn't. Interestingly enough, though, we had 3 kids together, so you could have given me some genetic illnesses.
Huh.
Fun fact, people don't know. You get a little DNA from the dad. Information I think they should give you before you have a baby.
just so if your creepy factor is high, you can be like, I don't want this.
I don't want this. Like, I like you, but not enough to take on your genes. So that sort of explains the Duggars a bit more, doesn't it? Think about that. Just roll that over in your head for a second. Okay, I'm not. I don't know what is in my coffee today.
I don't know.
So how the gridding works, right?
Yeah.
So this is our 7-inch mark. This is our 4.5, and this is our 2-inch. Each square has a little bit of the picture in it. And what that lets you do is not have to really handle the fact that you've got to draw the whole picture. It lets you take it in small incremental bursts. Now, just recently, I just had this all done before the show, but every once in a while, I like to show you guys how the grid works. And all you got to do is just try and get the grid you see on your surface. And I match these 4 and 9 by 12. There's a bunch of gridding and mapping tools out there on the internet if you want to do a different size, but please don't ask me math questions.
No.
Just don't do it. I'm a nice Sherpa, and there's no need to torture me like that. And also already, I'm doing a car, and y'all know how I feel about that.
You're not doing just a car.
I'm doing Christine.
You're doing Christine.
Watch out for me. I am pure evil. I am Christine. I love Stephen King's like little sayings that he puts in stuff, like just, you know, little crazy sayings that, I don't know, he just makes up that must be going on in his head all the time. I very much enjoy that. I have to say, the new movie makers, the new people doing the movies are starting to get the stories a little bit better. Now, down here, I've got this little corner. It comes to about the midway spot. This is going to come up, crossing that set of 4 squares. If I get this car in, this will be proof that gridding is the most amazing tool in the universe. Because cars are not something I can freehand. Like, not at all. Not even a little bit.
I like you say, this car. It's like, this is a 1958 Plymouth Fury.
Yep. Did you know that? Like, just organically? Because I know you didn't read the book.
No, I did. I mean, I knew. Well, I mean, Christine is a sort of legendary classic car. So, I mean, like, I knew that, but I don't know how I knew that.
So I'm just making sure that I've got some nice straight lines, because the issue with cars is they have these very exacting lines.
Yes.
And the real issue with cars is that car fans have too many opinions, John.
Well, I mean...
I'm going to make the little trunk here. I'm trying to make the structural lines while I have the grid, so that when I put her in, she looks good.
This was the era of big fins.
Yeah.
You know, the Chevrolet Tri-5 years were 55, 56, and 57.
This is cool times, man.
Yeah, well, this is 58, so you have to see, this is coming right off the height of the big Chevy box, you know, like the 57 Chevy, the Nomad, you know, those classic big fin cars. And then Plymouth was like, that's a good idea. We should do that too.
Everybody should do that.
I agree. Rocket tail is just, you can't have enough rockets on the back end of your car.
Maybe that should make a comeback.
You know, I think Elon's
he's
got half a chance of bringing it back.
New game. Whenever you have a really good idea that's some sort of futuristic thought that you have that you're not really sure anyone's going to do, just like hashtag, hey, Elon. That's what we do in our family. Elon Musk will do it. He's like our Santa Claus.
So I've heard, rumor has it, and I have to go back because it was in one of his interviews. I believe he purchased the James Bond submarine Lotus, the white one, and was planning on actually making it into a functioning submarine.
When you're a billionaire and smart and have a lot of time on your hands,
well, no, I think he did this
Elon Musk.
Like back before Tesla, like before any of that, back like in his, you know, money, like PayPal kind of days, and whatever it was called.
John knows a lot about Elon Musk. He even has not a flamethrower, because that's how much of a fan he is. He was going to try to make it part of the show.
You're not supposed to burn anything.
Yeah, it's really bad to burn art materials, so I keep telling him I don't really know how we're going to work it in, babe.
It's just a cool thing.
I got a tail light here. Look at me. I'm drawing a car, John. Mostly, be nice, okay?
You're doing a good job.
I'm drawing a car. So this thing has a little bit of an interior space that kind of comes up, so I definitely want to speak to this.
Your little chrome bezel.
My little chrome bezel. These are the things that really mess me up with cars. And architecture and all of that. It's just a little more challenging than you might think.
And it's so funny because the subtle lines of those pieces are what are the characteristics that really make people emotional about the vehicle. So that's why there's so much like, no, it's got 2 headlights and they have to be round and 5 inches and set a 1/4 inch apart. And
why on earth don't I do more car paintings on the channel? Asked and answered.
yep,
Right there by you.
I totally get it.
But what I like is like in this corner, if you look here, this would be a really hard thing for me to just naturally get.
Yeah.
But I can see where it enters and exits the corner, and it gives me a way to sort of anchor myself in the drawing where I might on my own be a little bit lost. This goes well, we might do baby. I'm just in a little bit of denial that it's going to be over soon. So hard to say goodbye. All right, so
you have furied.
I have furied. So now to make sure that you guys have a step-by-step, I'm going to grab a quick picture of this. Take a sip of my coffee. John can scan for questions if there's any.
Let's see here.
Especially gridding related questions.
Did Nick Fury drive a Fury? I don't know.
Did Nick Fury drive a Fury?
No, I don't think so. I'm just.
I know. Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. What was it that Agent Coulson drove?
I don't know. I didn't actually. I've never seen the car that Coulson drove, so I couldn't tell you.
You sleep too much during all the good TV shows.
That's true. So, what are some good questions? There were some good questions.
Here.
Oh, Sandra was saying that she painted the little boy over the moon and really enjoyed it, but she would like to do more skin tone practice.
You know, we are going to get some more of it in. There really isn't too much skin tone practice one can have.
We have a lot of good videos on our website. You can go check out for more help on those.
There's a bunch. We've done a bunch of skin tones. There's always more that we could do. So what I'm doing here is I'm going to do a blocking process. It's kind of an underpainting. And the first part I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and alleviate myself of some of these watercolor lines with just a damp brush. I was using a General's chalk pencil, but what we found was if you pressed hard at all when the paint was warm, the lines didn't come up.
Oh.
And it was easy for me to make adjustments around that, but I found for students that was really a constant trap. I try to not continue things, even if they're working for me, if I'm like, wow, that's messing y'all up. Which is why we don't use a full retarder. We use the golden glazing medium because it's the only beginner-friendly retarder. Well, the rest of them are just set up to make y'all miserable. Now I'm going to do a second coat of black.
So Megan says that Coulson drove Lola, a red, hover-capable 1962 Chevrolet Corvette.
Yeah, thank you.
Which makes sense.
I loved Lola. I loved that he had a car he named Lola.
Those Corvettes had a really, really good line to them. They were not terribly performance-oriented. Sort of, but everything in that time frame was sort of relatively performance-oriented. But got feelings about cars.
So the second coat of black really helps make the surface seem rich. Also, if you're painting student paints, you may, depending on your black, if it's still streaky at the second coat, give it a third coat before moving on, guys. Just know that sometimes when paints are less expensive, their pigment loads really come down. And that makes a scenario where you might be a little more frustrated than you expect. Now I'm going to take my number 8 cat's tongue. You could use a bright. You could use a filbert. You could use a round. You just want a brush that lets you work sharp edges, make turns, and that you feel like you're in control of. That's the big thing about your brushes. Make sure you're picking brushes that help you feel in control. The brushes are not in control. You are in control. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through here. I'm going to take my blue and my black together, making that really fun gray that I like. And I'm going to paint the areas, the different zones, in their basic color. I will be coming back, right, and defining some of these a little bit. But I find it's helpful to just zone everything out, zone it out. So I'm going to find all the places that I could put this blue and black mixture.
I'm zoning.
You're zoning. We're zoning. We're always zoning.
I'm always
we're
zoned
growing
out to some degree.
as artists. We're zoning, zoning, zoning. And we do it together for 13 days of Halloween. Yep, not a cheerleader. I was secretly afraid of cheerleaders in high school, John, but not for the reasons that most people are.
I was not secretly afraid of them. I was an open fear that I told everyone about.
Really?
Like
The happiness is what scared
you
me.
would avoid.
They're a very happy, motivated, organized group of individuals. They're highly focused, which is super awesome, but it also reminds me of Stepford. So I had like fears going. But I never felt like they were well-founded, and I had friends that were cheerleaders, and they thought it was really funny to mess with me.
Yeah.
It was not, but they thought it was, because they knew, like, I had imaginative thinking. So, my cheerleaders were nice in my school, just super happy all the time.
That's almost a genetic predisposition.
I don't know, man. I don't know. It was a little terrifying. I'm going to add a bit of my white into my blue to get a lighter value. And we're going to come across the top here. And just speak a bit about this sort of reflection that we will be doing. Right? Because there's this little interesting half reflection up here. It does help to get some of that big stuff in while you have a chance to. If you know what I mean. I don't know if you do. So just going to paint around here. You can see that I just press the brush and curve my hand. I just twirl that brush in my hand, and that's how I get it to do that nice little circle. Just in case you were worried and wondering.
Your twirl methodology?
My twirl methodology. I've been painting a lot of cars, even though I've said on the channel several times I don't paint cars.
I like the painting you do cars.
I think I'm going to give up on that feeling that I don't paint cars and just deal with it. You can see I'm just filling in this upward area here. I don't know what that part is called. John's going to tell you the parts. And I'm going to say this weird shape right here.
That's a fin. Its purpose is to look cool.
It does do it.
That's its purpose.
Does it well.
It does it very well.
It's a very cool looking little part of the car. Oops, went over a little too far. That would be my red. Just making sure that I got these things. Actually, I think this is going to work out, babe. Already, yeah. It's super car. You know, for those of you that have a car person in your life, you don't have to call this Christine. You could just say that what is the car that we're painting?
Fury.
Yeah.
Plymouth Fury. Just
give your car fan in your life a Plymouth Fury. They might not even ever connect to what it is. Sorry, I amused myself. Just myself. No one else is amused. I'm going to go ahead and begin this with my alizarin crimson. So I've got my phthalo blue, titanium white, alizarin crimson, Mars black. And I'm just trying to get that underpainting going that you need to get going. Uh-oh, I lost some of my blue, so I'm going to put it back right here. It's fun stuff. This weirdly is kind of like the strange purple that comes up into this. Then through here, I'm going to paint the red, and then I will do that last light thing.
Mm-hmm.
And then we'll get another little step picture. All right. Step by step. I like to use the Alizarin Crimson or any deep red at this stage, right? So that as we pull in highlights and the brighter colors and the CADs, they have a chance to really pop.
Mm-hmm.
This just helps you pick it up from the black. How you need to. Why you need to. You can see we're just filling in these zones. This is fun.
Yeah.
I liked my thumbnail for this video like so much. I think the thumbnail was as arty as the plan.
Yeah.
That's kind of funny too, arty. See, very tied in. All right, so I'm gonna get my black on here.
Get your trunk line in.
Yeah, I just got to make sure that I don't lose my trunk line and the stuff that I need. I can always, easily come back, but it's just sort of nice to see these things off the top and know that I've got a thought about them.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty good. Now we know where our car is, right?
Yeah.
So I'm going to take a picture. Going to sip my coffee. If you have a question, feel free.
I'll go over and take a look.
I love this new, hey, stages.
It is cool. Everyone was like, Cinnamon has a camera and not her. Really? So are you using Ultramarine or Phthalo?
Phthalo.
Okay.
Phthalo.
Yeah.
Ultramarine is coming up for the Halloween tree, but Ultramarine is definitely a blue you want to have in your box. Just Phthalo blue and Ultramarine are really good double blues to have. Mm-hmm. Both is really nice.
And Ian was commenting that chrome is some of the hardest thing to do on these older cars.
Yep. Not looking forward to it.
But, it's
good. Thank you for pointing it out, Ian.
That's what they come with. They come with lots of chrome.
So I'm going to put out my CADs now. I've got my CAD red medium. I'm going to put out my Layers CAD red light. It's almost the CAD orange. It's just a shade richer than that. And I'm going to put out my CAD yellow. Look at this. We're like rocking the cadmiums. Just in case, I may also really get into my tinting white, which is the same as zinc white or mixing white. Those are two whites to have in your art box. Titanium white, zinc white, and you can just get it called mixing white or tint white. Those are both perfectly fine. They're both good, man.
They're both good.
But before we get all the details in, we got to paint in some flames. And I'm going to start mixing my alizarin with a little bit of my CAD medium. That's going to be my darkest flame color. And I'm going to make these really sort of emotional little brush strokes like this. You know what I'm doing? They're like little S's.
Yeah.
In this deep color, because we're going to be talking about, let's curve a C stroke there, flames. And the cool thing about flames, I'm going to kind of neatly tie in around here, is that they are, I don't know, I think like liquid that flows through the air.
Mm-hmm.
So they lend themselves to these whimsical brush strokes. And the good news about whimsical brush strokes is, who's to say yours are not exactly correct?
Right.
I do think it's nice. See how I did that where when the S I go up and I come down and I curve back up?
Yeah.
It's a great way to get a flame stroke in. That's what you're trying to do. You're trying to talk about that there's I believe these are the fires of hell that Christine is from. Rough neighborhood. Used to be Lilith Scar. Yeah, I just made a whole bunch of funnies right there. I don't know if anybody caught it though. And we're using the black of the canvas to really help us describe that this is a fire.
It is. That's a fire.
Yeah. Now, usually we put flames on a car, right? But in this particular case, flames aren't even on our car, man.
They're around the car.
Game over, man. They're around the car. Now, to be educational,
yeah,
this is fan art, but it's also just art of a Plymouth. So it's association with Christine that is the fan art part, but the painting itself is just a Plymouth, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it's
so
just
out in the world, if you're just like, it's a Plymouth on fire, you're fine. Right? It's not fan art, but it's me saying it's Christine. But I'm a huge fan of Stephen King, so hopefully I will survive saying that.
And that's why, I mean, like, respect to Christine, who is a really cool, car.
And come up here. Now I've got my just pure cad red. That's my next value up. And I'm going to find areas of the flames to shade with that cad red and create these little values that are in that brighter range. See how we're doing?
Yep.
You'll often see me make these little C marks, which are the flames maybe that are coming away. Because the fire has its ranges. Where it's the hottest, it's generally the lightest. And then as it cools and burns out, John probably has some scientific things he could share with you about that.
There's all sorts of interesting things about color temperature and heat, blah, blah, blah.
Blah, blah, blah. So not educational today.
I mean, if you want to go into the different color of heat, like, I think,
Just teasing. So, I don't have a feeling about it. I'm sorry, I wasn't really trying to mess with you. Now I'm going to take a little of my yellow into my cad red light, and that's why I like the cad red light, because it mixes to this perfect kind of fiery orange. I'm going to come in here. And again, I'm going to pick like this side of the flame. And I'm going to show the highlights of it. Do you guys see that?
Mm-hmm.
I'm curving it. Still the number 8 cat's tongue. Does it make it easier? I think so, but it's not intrinsically necessary.
Yeah, fire's some of that really cool stuff. And it's really pretty. And,
But it burns.
Yeah, it's the coolest fire I've ever seen is in 0G.
Oh, yeah. You've seen 0G fire?
The videos of it.
Of it, okay.
I mean, not like, I've never been in 0G.
You have a free time in your life that I don't understand.
Yeah, no, I've never been in 0G, but I have seen video of 0G fire, which is really cool because it's not cool. Because everything that happens in space is worse.
Yep. Ooh, liking that. Who's liking that? We're almost done. So now we got this really sort of wonderful feel of fire coming up the side. I'm going to take my Pure Cad yellow, and I'm going to, again, pick some spots and shade it out.
Now, if you had some other reds, could you interchange those fairly easily?
Yes. So here's the thing on interchanging colors. You can always interchange colors, keep the values the same, But feel free if you need to interchange some colors.
That makes sense.
But I'm super happy with that.
That looks great.
Guess what time it is? Picture time.
As my
Step by step. My new favorite tool for learning.
Yeah. That turned out really nice too.
Yeah.
Using my.
Okay. So now we're going to be doing the car. And to do that, what we're going to be looking for are the very patterned reflections and shadows on the car, because that's really what's going to make it look like chrome, look like paint, look like what it is, while somehow keeping the structural lines. Ah! So that's what we're doing. I'm going to work the red first, I feel, because to me the chrome will be the more challenging part.
Yeah.
You know. Oh, and you know what I did?
What did you do?
I painted an area that was going to be the chrome.
Oh.
Red, and I needed to paint it a...
Oh, the inside that. Yeah, that's the little...
So I just mixed a little more black into this blue and white mixture. And I'll use this as the basis. Right?
I think that's a little textury stamped area to give that tail fin some rocket looking.
Yeah, they had something going on.
See, they kind of went from fins to rockets.
I like rockets.
Oh man, that was.
I like
Dodge...
Space Age Mid-Century Modern.
Yeah, the Dodge Coronet that had really cool tail lights, and Chrysler had a turbine car with cool rear end.
That's one of the things John and I have in common, was we both really like Mid-Century Modern. If you check my Pinterest page, you'll see all kinds of boards about it.
Yep.
So now I'm going to come in, I'm going to get a little of my alizarin crimson, but again, I'm going to cut it with my CAD red. I'm going to come in and start the base paint a little deeper than that, giving my CAD red for the bright marks, and I'm going to get in some fields before I put in the reflections, as you do. Because the alizarin is just a little too dark. You could do a pyro red if you wanted to, but there's generally only so many reds most people have in their inbox. I find.
Now, what do you think about using additives like glycerin to help wet your paint?
I don't think it's a good idea, but I think it's recommended by a lot of people. The reason I don't think it's a good idea is that acrylic paint has a ton of anti-sulfacants and a myriad of ingredients to help with rheology, to help the incorporation of certain pigments in your paint. And what happens when you add something like glycerin is you begin to interfere with that. It's just easier and just as cheap to go get the medium, right? Which would be, if you're using glycerin, just switch to this, acrylic glazing liquid gloss. Buy it on sale. They have it on Michael. Use a half off coupon. I think it's even on my /TheArtSherpa. I have this listed as a thing. Just buy it. It'll be comparative in price. And unlike soap, oh man, soap really messes up your painting, or oil or glycerin, this will keep your piece intact. Remember, some things are just YouTube videos where there's like 10 tips of things that you, where are you going, babe? 10 tips of things that you didn't know that are exciting to click, but they're not really good tips. Like hairspray on a charcoal, really great tip. But it makes an interesting video. And it's important for you guys as consumers to recognize that sometimes stuff is just fun to watch and some stuff is accurate and informational for you.
I was distracted reading. Our gnomes were particularly slow today.
Oh no.
They took apparently they took like a 30-minute coffee break when they were going out.
Do we need to raise their pay?
I don't know. I think that today...
Or is it that we're getting close to that time of year and they got to work for Santa? Are they making up for like the elf shortage?
I don't know. I think that that it's just the first day of October and they were just like, oh no, we're gonna go get a pumpkin spice. We'll see you guys in a bit.
It's pumpkin spice latte season, the most holy of all seasons for gnomes. If you don't know what we're talking about, we have a notification system that you can sign up for that's us. It's basically we text you that we're live.
It's an SMS system.
Yeah,
Text.
and
we
we
lovingly
call it the gnomes.
gnoming you.
We're gnoming you.
We gnomify you. Ha 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 ha.
Because we think we're funny even though we're not.
It's dad joke. It's pun. I'm like, you become a dad and you're predisposed to making these bad jokes.
You are, right?
Just I can't help it now.
I love that, right? That's looking good. I'm going to dry this and give it a second coat, okay?
Okay.
Much like your classic car. It's already looking pretty good.
It really is.
Much like your classic car, sometimes your red needs a second coat.
So, yep. And make sure you dry that thoroughly. No heat. The drying, it'll make sure that when you put the next layer on, you don't pick up and mix any. Because you don't want the layers to streak onto each other. You want to make distinct, layers one on the other. If you do want them to blend, you have to use things like extenders and keep it wet. But so yeah, the layers are so important to making it have a deep shine.
I feel like it is. I'm going to get into a much stronger Alizarin, which is a very transparent paint. So it's almost like you're glazing.
Yeah, I mean we're not
come here and just start to put in that glaze over that mix that I have, and you're going to see that it really gets into a neat space. This works with inexpensive paint too, guys, so don't feel bad or trapped or any of that, because sometimes these techniques will translate across all paints. I try to be an all paint teacher.
Ooh, that's a good question. Michelle asked a question that you can't, so this is relevant to I know other mediums, but I don't know if it's relevant to acrylic.
Oh, I'd love to answer a question.
Can you over dry?
No.
Yeah, see,
I mean, if you put it in an oven, but I would say that you could overheat it, but you can't over dry it.
And
you can overheat it.
See, and there are some paints where once they cure to a certain point, they won't stick to themselves. So the surface becomes so hard that it can't. Another layer can't bond.
That's got to be enamel and stuff too.
Yeah, there's some like that, some oil based, enamel based.
Yeah.
But not here in acrylic.
Not here in acrylic. It just, what happens is the polymer, which are these little chains, and the pigment, as the water evaporates out, imagine that they're like atoms that are distantly floating apart, right? And then as gravity denses, they come closer and closer together. Look at me go. I've been watching Kirk's the Guest. So they come closer together and they begin to interlock. Have you ever noticed that acrylic paintings, when stored facing each other, become one immutable acrylic painting that can never be separated? It's because those little chains really want to stick together. So that's one of the blessings of this medium.
They have sticky chains.
Sticky chains. I'm digging this. I'm digging this. I am digging this. Now I'm going to get some just cad red. And I'm going to come here. And I may cross just because I want a fluid line, and then I'll put my reflection back in.
Yeah.
And I'm going to make a hot reflection right here. I will bring that line back through, but I just want to make sure that I've got a nice hot reflection. And then I'm going to put another little hot reflection down here. Find a couple more spots for it. There we go, coming down. Curve some up. Curve this a bit like that, just to accentuate those shapes. I'm gonna get a little more red on my brush. I'm gonna come right here. I'm gonna come down and over and swing it up just a little bit. It'll be nice for later.
Adding a little reflection there.
Yeah, because these things do that. I'm going to add a little bit right there. And maybe a small little streak here. And let's carry a little streak there. You want to always try to catch these little streaks of red where you can. Go here. Let's put one right here. Kind of underneath and around. Because you know you're feeling it. All right. There we go. And I'm going to start to come in here and I'm just going to swirl this around. So swirled that mixture around. Now I'm going to get my Cad Red and my Cad Red Light together. And I'm going to come right here, make a streak across like that, and then another streak across like that. See what I'm kind of doing?
Yeah.
That's happening. Your Cad. And then finally, the Alizarin Crimson in the center here. A little more strongly worked out. And a little bit blended through the tail light. Oh, I love it, love it, love it, love it, love it. Da, 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 da. There's a little bit of something right here. Always nice. Add some of those things. And a little bit of highlight right there. So sometimes I do get a little artistic in what I'm doing, but that's also because I know that the flames and things would have like a particular impact. So I'm going to take a picture. John can scan the chat.
I can scan the chat.
You're allowed to scan the chat because we're actually whipping through this. I actually thought this was going to be a lot longer of our day.
Now, what brand of alizarin is that? And
this one is the Artist Loft Level 3. They have them in most of the Michaels in North America right now. I also have a Senlayer version and a golden version. And a Holbein version.
I'm just thrilled I could read the word alizarin. Huh.
This is going to be the best step-by-step ever. All right. Do we have any questions as I center my brain for part 2? Hi, up here. There. I'm looking at it. I also like to look into the camera. It's a weird thing, guys, as I look into the camera. It's my version to step back and take it in.
Yeah. My microphone was turned off here. Going over here and scrolling up. Hello, everybody. It's nice to see everyone. They were commenting that gnomes were slow for a little while. Yes. And
sometimes the gnomes be slow.
Now, do you prefer cadmium more than see here? Is cadmium medium a better sub than alizarin?
Well, cadmium medium and alizarin are two very different colors. Alizarin is a cool red, much more in account of what you might think of as blood. It's in that crimson range. Mm-hmm. And Cad Red medium is a very warm red. So the best lesson about this is my Santa hiding against the red walls of Santa's red, because all of that is about playing those cool reds against those warm reds. Fun holiday painting to do, by the way.
That's coming up, isn't it?
Yeah. Oh, well, we got to get through the 13 days. Who's showing up every day for 13? And who took the Art Sherpa 31-day challenge? Since I have at the end of this, I'll have like 70 Halloween paintings. And if you guys, before November 5th, do all 31, of your choice, you guys can have a free month of family membership to the patronage. Check your newsletters because all the information was in there.
I think Mary's in. She's like, I think I'm going to be rocking the paintings during Sherpaween.
You can do any of the 60. I think there's 65 plus right now, and there'll be 70 at the end of this. You can do any of them. Any of them. I have a lot of Halloween.
Oh, No, she's asking, will a rock painting tutorial work? So, like, if she painted this on a rock, is that okay?
Yes.
Okay, so like, if you're into
You
the
can paint it
rock,
on a mailbox. You could paint it on a chair. You could paint it on the back of a jacket.
ooh,
Definitely paint it on a
oh,
rock.
if you do any, that was one of the things when I was a kid, like, the denim jacket that had you talk some artist into doing something on the back of.
If you have something in mind you want to get a tattoo of and you need the tattoo released, just message us at support@theartsherpa.com. I will support your ink journey.
Yeah, it's true.
It's true.
We've
It's
had
really cool of it.
there's been more than one tattoo of our work over the years.
Not a tattoo of me yet, but tattoos of the work. So I know you guys need artist releases, and we're happy to do that.
Yeah.
And if you want to use it commercially, check out our labs on our website, artsherpa.com/labs, and we can tell you how to do that. It's really not expensive, and we have a not-for-profit option if you're doing something good for your community. All right, are we ready for the next layer?
Well, I'm ready. I'm just sitting here.
I
chilling.
like to hear the questions. I like to hear the questions. Now I'm going to put a little bit of my green out because some of the blues have a hint of green cast to them.
Mm-hmm.
And I definitely want to get into that. So I'm going to take a little bit of this green to this blue. I still want it to be quite blue. And I'm going to get my white into it. I'm going to come right here and just sort of paint a lighter value that I can right in this inner circle. And then I'm going to come here and make a nice thin line of that. I'm going to take this down a little bit further because I can always come back with a brush and fine line all my black lines in. I just have to know where they sort of are. Let me get some of my darker blue on here. Come down and streak that down.
Ooh, that's nice.
It is a good feeling. It's a very, very good feeling.
While you're rinsing that out, if you're like Carrie and you're wanting to figure out how to get the newsletter, just jump over to our website and sign up on our website, and you'll start getting the newsletter as part of that. So if you join our website, you get the newsletter.
But make sure you check your spam folders.
Yep. And then if you still have some trouble, just put a support ticket in at support@theartsherpa.com, and they'll help you figure out why you're not getting your newsletter. Could be it could be your email is a complicated email address, or it's been reported as a
complicated email address. We can't talk to you. You're too complicated.
Well, I'm trying to lightly gloss over a deep technical issue, which is that if we try to send you an email 3 times and your report bounces it back, then it's marked as inactive. We don't keep trying to send it. So sometimes, for a myriad of technical reasons, your email can become bounced. So we might have to go reset that process. So to kind of gloss over it, it can be complicated.
So what you see me doing here, and I will kind of point it out as soon as, we get through. I'm going to make sure that there's a little bit of a... I am starting to apply the values. So I've added a lighter blue kind of coming down, and I'm running up the edge. And I did it with my tinting white, but I'm going to switch into my titanium white, which, as you can see, is a much stronger tinting strength. And I'm going to make sure that this reflection kind of flows through this way.
Those flowing reflections are super important to car people.
Yep, they are.
I mean, because they speak to the fluid lines of the vehicle. And without them, it's just sort of, it loses that conversation.
So we've got a little bit of that happening right there. Coming around that outside edge. So you can see that we're starting to build that. Now I'm going to get into my blue, and I'm going to actually get a little alizarin into it so that it is blue, but it's almost got that sort of purple cast. I'm going to make sure that we've got that happening here. A little more blue. That's where I think it's just challenging, is trying to get those pops.
Mm.
And we'll be doing like some last minute work with white lining that's going to really cause the whole car to pop.
Oh,
now I'm going to come down there on the windshield and let's kind of highlight that corner there. We're getting it, guys.
Yeah.
I am going to come in and sort of try to make this interesting little space here that you can see. Come down that a bit. Now I'm going to get my alizarin in there and my tinting white at this point, because you want it to look kind of creamy, but you don't want it to be as strong as the titanium. And we're going to bring down a bit of this little reflection, which implies that the car is, I don't know, parked near trees. And that goes right there. And then this one, interestingly, pulls down here, up a bit here, and that, there we go. We got that one kind of coming in. When you have that in, you can always give some hot version of that in the middle of that reflection, which will help it pop, pop, pop.
Pop, pop, pop.
Pop, pop, pop.
I like that. Like Ruby Rod.
Make another little line there, just to show that flow. Here we go into that little weird reflection. We're going to come kind of on a streak by the tailpipe. In the tailpipe a bit. No, that's a head. That's a taillight.
That is a tail.
Whatever that thing is. Come right here. And I'm going to start to talk about the bumper. I'm still on my number 8 cat's tongue, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I might come back in periodically with like darker versions, and I'll come in and streak maybe some blue. I'm going to turn this to the side. I'm going to get some black on here. And I'm going to make some weird little sort of dots. That is like the cityscape reflection happening. Add some black. And I'm going to streak a little black across a couple places. Because that's what it do.
Mm-hmm.
Now I'll do this first before I do the cap. Because the cap will go and get me, I can promise you. I'm going to take a little bit of my white, my regular titanium white. And I'm going to talk a bit about this. Pulling this up here. And then coming down the far side. There we go. Get a little more of my black blue. And we will pull in this interesting cap thing. That John probably also has a name
The little
for.
chrome retaining cap.
That thing. I'm going to get some of my black and go ahead and put the shadow underneath it so we can really capture what it is. There we go. Just want to get that in there. And that is pretty good. So that's the next place that we're at. So this is the next place you want to try to get to.
Yeah, it turned out really nice.
It's not done, but it's getting there.
I mean, you're
It's
starting
about
to, see
to be done.
The chrome is coming through. The taillight's coming through.
Good times, good times. So now I'm going to pull out one of my number 4 rounds. And I might also get a kind of scruffly brush. This is a number 6 Cambridge. I just want a little scruffle. I'm going to take a little bit of my blue and white, but quite light. And I'm going to sort of imply this texture like this. I don't want to paint every single little weird scale. So sometimes, one of my very favorite things I ever got in art school was implied texture and implied line. I'm like, oh good, I can imply things. There we go, through that. Look at us go. Look at you go.
That looks so good. I like the texture. Let me put this back.
Texture just gives us a little something. You might want to do it differently. That's hard to say. But I like to do it like this. That gives us that implication of the texture without making us actually like full on have that texture.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to get my black and blue again and some of my white. Make sure I dip it in water so that see that it flows off. And I'm going to come right here and improve that little design bit there. I'm going to bring that down like that. And let's come on the other side. Similar deal. There, we got that going. I'm going to get this going again, all in my little round doohickey. There we go. A little bit there. Sometimes that's nice to do. Temporarily back into my cat's tongue. And what we're going to basically say is that we have a lighter gray on this side and a darker gray on the other side. A little more blue, a little more black, deepen it up. Look at this go.
Wow, that looks so good.
So we're starting to capture that sense of things. And a little bit of a highlight there. Now up here, let's get some dark color. Come in and put this here. And put a little bit of dark color here. And a little bit of the dark color at the top. Now you're going to get the light color. And come over this. And on that inside edge right there. My next thing is I'm going to thin a bunch of my black on my brush, as you do. And I'm going to define some lines a little bit more. just the places that I want to talk about, things that are defined within the car itself. Like under that chrome. Under our tail light. See how we curved that around right there?
Yeah.
A little bit around. And if at any point I have trouble, I can always go back with a little bit of blue and white. And smooth it out.
And you get that nice blending because you have a lot of unmixed paint on your brush, huh?
Yep, because that's so messy. There we go. We're just creating those dark values. Pull that down. Look at that go. We're kind of awesome, right?
Yeah. Everybody loves how that makes it backlit and pop.
It does. It really helps define the lines. And it's pretty good on its own. It's fairly helpful.
Yeah.
It's fairly informative. That's, already you can see a car here, and we painted chrome. And chrome feels very like mentally exhausting, but it's actually not that bad. Then we're going to come in with our pure white, or even white with a little bit of blue, it doesn't really matter. And we're going to add some very key reflections. Right there is a key reflection. So we're just capturing these edges. Let's hit this outer edge of this. The center of that. There we go. Now we're getting some of those poppity pop moments that help something like this really define itself. There we go, up over that. And let's
This is coming along a lot faster than I thought it would.
yeah.
Yep. Don't want to spill the coffee.
All right, I think I'm personally there. Let's take a look at this for a second.
Wow.
Yeah,
That
I feel
turned
really
out
great about
so
that.
nice.
So that is a very beginner introduction into chrome and car paint and shiny surfaces. Hopefully now when you look at even more involved paintings and you're looking like how they do that, it's starting to sort of click now like, oh, I know how they did that. Remember these skills, they build on each other. They only grow and grow and grow, right? You're only going to get better at it. So I say, you know, go for it, take some risks, have some fun. I'm going to come over here. And I think I'm going to sign my name in yellow.
Yeah.
This is a #1 monogram liner. I really like it for this type of work. And this was enough fun where I might do another classic car or motorcycle or something.
Mm-hmm.
If y'all had fun and you'd like to paint some more vehicles, I had enough fun with this where I might be kind of open to the possibility of us doing that.
All right.
And I think we did pretty good with
Yeah, I
our
think so too.
Plymouth Fury.
You see a friend?
Yes. Ooh, is it rockety enough, John?
Oh, it is so rockety.
Is it car enough? Like,
It's
can y'all
very good.
tell it's a car?
I love it.
Look, we all have things that maybe it's a little harder for us to wrap our heads around in painting. I have those things. They're generally vehicles of some kind. But if I can face that, which I've done for you guys can face all the painting challenges in front of you because you know what? You're not doing it alone. We're here with you.
Yeah, we're not doing it alone. We're here with you.
That's right. You're not alone. You have Art Family here. If you want to share your results in a place that you know is safe, definitely come by, register on the website, opt into that newsletter because that's where we tell you stuff. And it's important stuff. And also come by the Facebook group and join up. Tell us what your favorite tutorial was. And you have a safe place to share your art in either location. So no matter where you are in your art journey, know that you're going to get support, you're going to get love. Be good to yourself. Be good to each other. I want to see you tomorrow for the next day of Halloween. That's real soon. Bye-bye.
Bye.